So one of the mini jobs today is sorting out the double swivel seats, so I'm smashing that out. I've just removed these torque bolts which hold it in. Flipping nightmare, so tightly done up. So I used a ratchet with a bike seat on the end to create an even bigger lever to get these suckers out. And they're these torque bolts, a T55. Had to order that specifically because I don't have one big enough. And this is what we've got so far. So that's where the seat was. Removed those bolts and then just left the seat chilling in the back there with the seatbelt still attached. I had to cut off a bit of matting here for clearance with a Stanley knife. That was dead easy. And we'll now need to trim the height of these bolts down. So I'm going to probably use an angle grinder to get that sorted. Following the instructions very carefully. Well, she's on and she's slippy. I didn't actually have to trim the bolts and they don't seem to catch. So I don't know whether I missed a trick there or not, but I'll put it all together and see whether it works, and if it does, happy days. Right, I finally got the flipping thing fitted. The instructions suggested that I put a spacer underneath here and here in these regions, but that didn't work. I ended up needing to put a 6mm washer under this side and then bolt it down, and then that makes it sit completely flat and allows these locking handles to work, because I spent about 4 hours yesterday without it being able to lock down, which was a massive pain in the arse. Now I want to bolt the seat on, but with the long wheel transit there's a bolt on the bottom of the seat which means this bolt won't pass on, so that's this square bolt here, so there's no way it's going to get through that. So I'm going to angle grind it off and hopefully it'll all fit after that. Wish me luck.
Just getting into position to film Chris doing some angle grinding, but I gotta be in a safe spot.
So that's off that. Because it's still a little rust, so we'll spray it. Sweet, don't need to look pretty, no one will see it. I'll just quickly show you. So, it's this bar here, one of the bolts goes through there, there's another bolt hole here for some sort of adjustment. And then just this bit here needs to come off. So we've sheeted everything up again and we'll get it off. So guys, the faff with the swivel seat continues. Now if I try and show you. So underneath there you can see the base of the swivel seat isn't quite sitting flush. There's a gap of about maybe 4mm, so I put a 6mm washer on and it looked great until we tightened it up and started to wobble. So I reckon the space is actually only 4mm, so I'm going to try and put 4mm spacers and tighten it all up and see if that works. And if it does, then question answered. But turns out I'm not the only person to have this problem. I've just found a YouTube video and I just think these bases are really temperamental, so yeah, 40 minutes, no chance of installing them. An angle grinder and 3 days later maybe we'll get there. We'll see. I'll keep you posted. So this is the 4mm spacer I fashioned out of some steel joining brackets. Obviously it's not ideal, but what I'll do is if this fixes the problem, then I'll email the company and ask them to send me out a 4mm proper steel washer and see if we can get it sorted. But there's no point in doing that until I find out whether this works or not. So yeah, we'll pop it in and see. Okay, so we managed to fix the plate down and we put a 4mm spacer under the front bolts, and then the plate works when tightened up. So now we've popped the seat on and we've noticed that actually the seat doesn't fit flush on top of the plate, so it wobbles when you press on this front right corner. So then when you tighten the seat up it bends the plate. So we're going to put a spacer underneath the front seat to try and level it and then bolt it up and see if it works properly.
So when we put the seat onto the plate, which is now flat, we noticed this lip here was stopping this spacer going down flat onto the plate and making a lot of rocking. So this isn't structurally important, and we're going to try removing this lip with the hope that the spacer will then sit flat on the base.
Alright people, so today I've decided to finish off this flip and swivel seat. So the company sent me a bag of washers. I reckon I probably need a 5mm washer rather than the 4mm which is there, because it does work now but it's a little bit tight with the unlocking mechanism. So we will take the seat off yet again, and fingers crossed this is the last time and we'll get it all sorted. This is my makeshift washer that I made in the last video, and when I measure it, it comes out at sort of 380. So these guys have sent some more washers. When I put the two together, we're getting around 5. 6 was too big, so with any luck we'll give this a go. It's interesting, when I crank that up it's actually bent weight, so hopefully these washers are a bit stronger, but who knows. Still not perfect. Okay people, well, fully installed, bolted down, and these all unlock. That one's a little tight, but that one's not too bad. Those two are sweet. So let's unlock them. Try and swivel it, see how it goes with the flooring. And swiveling is a bit of a knack as well, to be honest. But all in all, really frustrating, disappointing process, because like they're not cheap, 300 quid. Problem is, it's the only real option unless you swap it out for a single seat and swivel base. Slightly this way. Just cuts it a little bit. This place doesn't bother me that much. And then we have a seat, which I can just sit in there. So if you're tall, bit of a nightmare. Here, ow, I ain't sitting there. But here, it's nice enough. And in. So, there we go. Hopefully I'll get a bit slicker at it. it is in, does work. Not the best design. Can't sit under it very well. So, would I buy this again? Probably not. But it does open up the cab. It'll be nice for shorter people. It's a cheaper alternative than a single swivel seat, and it allows you to keep 2 people up the front. Very poor installation instructions, lots of modifications needed to install it. It needed an angle grinder. Damaged the thread of one of the bolts through to the floor. When I emailed them, they were more than happy to send out washers, but kind of ignored any comments about the difficulty, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, it is what it is. It scratches stuff as you turn it. I can't think of a way out of doing that just yet without scratching it. But it's in, and I'm going to forget about it for a while and move on to something else. Well, yeah, honest installation review of a tricky seat.